Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. It's late. The world around you is quieter now. Your body is tired, but your mind, your spirit, it's still awake. God wants you to hear this tonight before you sleep. And I know you may not have planned to listen for long. Maybe you were scrolling. Maybe you were searching for comfort without knowing how to name it. But something inside you said, stay. And that matters. Because what I'm about to share is not noise. It's not pressure. It's not another voice demanding answers from you. It's reassurance. A gentle reminder meant to settle your heart before you close your eyes. Breathe, chosen one. You've been carrying more than you show. During the day, you function. You respond. You smile when needed. You handle responsibilities. But at night, when everything slows down, that's when the weight shows up. That's when questions surface. Am I doing enough? Did I miss something? Why does this season feel so long? Why am I still waiting? And sometimes you don't even have words for it. It's just a heaviness, a quiet ache, a sense of being stretched in places no one can see. God sees that. Not from a distance, not vaguely, but intimately. He knows the exact moment you sigh and don't know why. He knows the thoughts you push aside during the day so you can keep going. And tonight, before you sleep, He wants to ease your heart. Not by explaining everything, not by rushing the process, but by reminding you of something essential. You are not forgotten. You are not delayed by mistake. You are not overlooked. Chosen one, this waiting season you're in is not a punishment. It's not because you failed. It's not because you weren't faithful enough. It's not because God changed His mind. It's because something is being formed in you that can only grow in quiet. Pause. I know that's hard to hear when you've already been patient, when you've already prayed, when you've already surrendered outcomes more times than you can count. Stay with me. Don't leave yet. This matters for you. Some of the deepest work God does happens in unseen moments. Moments like this. Late at night, when no one is watching, when you're honest with Him in ways you can't be with people. That's where roots grow. You see, God is less concerned with how fast you move and more concerned with how deeply you're anchored. Because what He's preparing you for won't be sustained by excitement alone. It will require steadiness, clarity, inner peace. And peace doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from knowing you are held even without them. Chosen one, you've been learning that. That's why this season has felt both stretching and sacred. Lonely, yet meaningful. Uncomfortable, yet necessary. God has been teaching you how to trust Him without constant reassurance. Not because He wants you anxious, but because He wants you secure. Think about it. Earlier seasons required obvious signs, clear direction, quick feedback. But now, you're being guided by something deeper, a quiet knowing, a steady sense of, this is right, even when logic can't explain it. That's maturing. That's growth. That's God strengthening you from the inside out. Chosen one, you're not losing your sensitivity. You are refining it. You are not becoming distant. You are becoming discerning. You are not falling behind. You are being positioned. And tonight, God doesn't want you replaying every worry as you try to sleep. He doesn't want you carrying tomorrow's concerns into this moment. He wants you to rest. Not because everything is finished, but because He is in control. You don't need to solve anything tonight. You don't need to figure out your entire future. You don't need to prove your worth. You already belong. Let that truth settle. Let your breathing slow. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders drop. God is not disappointed in you. He is patient with you. He is proud of how far you've come even when you don't see it. Chosen one, there are things unfolding that you will only recognize later. Right now, your job is not to understand everything. Your job is to stay soft, to stay open, to stay willing. And you've been doing that even on days when it felt hard. That matters. God honors quiet faithfulness. He honors endurance that doesn't demand applause. He honors hearts that keep trusting even when the path feels unclear. Breathe so tonight, before you sleep. Receive this reassurance. You are exactly where you need to be for what God is doing next. Not ahead, not behind. Right here, Stay with me a little longer. There's more peace meant for you tonight. Chosen one, I know that phrase can feel hard to accept, because there are moments when you look at your life and think, this doesn't look like progress. This doesn't feel like movement. This doesn't match what I prayed for. But God measures progress differently than you do. He doesn't just look at outcomes. He looks at alignment. And right now, you're more aligned than you realize. There was a time when uncertainty would have broken you, when waiting would have made you restless, when silence would have felt like rejection. But look at you now. You're still here, still breathing, still listening, still believing even quietly. Pause. That is strength. And it didn't come from nowhere. It came from every moment. You chose to trust God without immediate results. Chosen one, God has been watching how you wait, not to test you harshly, but to prepare you gently. Because the way you handle the in-between reveals how you will carry what comes next. And you've been learning patience without becoming bitter, hope without becoming desperate, faith without forcing outcomes. That's rare. That's precious. Breathe. You may not hear people say it, but heaven recognizes it. God sees the restraint it took to not rush into things just because you were tired of waiting. He sees the maturity in choosing peace over pressure. And tonight, before you sleep, He wants to reassure you of this. Nothing you've done in obedience has been wasted. Not one prayer, not one tear, not one season of trusting when it would have been easier to give up. Breathe. Some of the things you're waiting for are already in motion. They're just not loud yet. They're forming quietly, behind the scenes, in ways that won't require struggle when they arrive. God is sparing you from unnecessary battles. He's arranging things so that when the door opens, you'll walk through with peace, not exhaustion. Chosen one, you don't need to chase what God has ordained. What's meant for you will recognize you. It will meet you in the right timing, with the right foundation, in the right condition. That's why God slowed you down, not to frustrate you, but to protect you. Because rushing would have cost you your peace. And peace is not negotiable in this next chapter. You are entering a season where clarity matters more than speed, where discernment matters more than approval, where your inner state shapes your outer reality. God has been teaching you to listen inwardly, to notice when something feels forced, to trust when something feels calm. That's not coincidence. That's training. Chosen one, your sensitivity is a gift. The world may have told you to toughen up, to harden yourself, to stop feeling so deeply, but God never asked that of you. He refined your sensitivity so you could discern His voice without chaos. And now, you're able to recognize His presence not through noise but through peace. That's a sign of intimacy. Tonight, God doesn't want you replaying past mistakes or imagining worst-case scenarios. He wants you grounded in this truth. He is ahead of you, not waiting at the finish line but walking before you, clearing what you cannot see yet. You are not walking into the unknown alone. God has already been there. Breathe. That's why you can rest. Even if answers haven't arrived yet, even if clarity feels partial, even if tomorrow feels uncertain, you are covered. Pause. Stay with me. Let this settle deeper. There's something else God wants you to hear before you sleep. Breathe. There are people in your life who don't fully understand what God is doing in you. They may see the waiting, but not the growth. They may see the quiet, but not the depth. And that's okay. Pause. This season was never meant to be validated by everyone. Some things are too sacred to be explained prematurely. God has been protecting you from unnecessary opinions. He's been teaching you to be secure without external confirmation, to trust His voice even when it's the only one affirming you. That's powerful, because when confirmation does come, you won't be dependent on it. You'll receive it with gratitude, not desperation. Chosen one, you are becoming steady, not flashy, not loud, steady. And that kind of faith can carry responsibility without collapsing. Tonight, let yourself rest in that. You don't have to carry tomorrow tonight. God will meet you there when the time comes. For now, allow your heart to be calm. You are safe. You are guided. You are deeply loved. Stay here a little longer. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Chosen one, there is something sacred about the quiet moments before sleep. It's when defenses soften. It's when truth sinks deeper. It's when God speaks not to your performance, but to your heart. And tonight, He wants you to know this. You are not waiting alone. Even when it feels silent, even when prayers seem unanswered, even when progress feels invisible, God has been present in every unseen step. Some nights, you've gone to bed with questions instead of clarity, with hope mixed with weariness, with faith that felt thin but sincere, and God never despised that. He never turned away because your faith wasn't loud. He leaned closer. Chosen one, there were times you thought your stillness meant nothing was happening. But stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is often where God does His most precise work. Think of a seed underground. No applause, no recognition, no visible growth. Yet everything necessary is forming beneath the surface. That's been you. The reason this season felt hidden is because what God is building in you needs depth more than display. He's shaping your character to match your calling, and that alignment cannot be rushed. You see, God already knows where He is leading you. He knows the environments you will walk into, the people you will influence, the responsibilities you will carry. So He's been strengthening you quietly, not to overwhelm you, but to stabilize you. So when doors open, you won't lose yourself trying to fit. You'll arrive grounded. Chosen one, you don't need to fear being overlooked. God does not overlook what He is personally preparing. He has had His hand on you this entire time. Even moments that felt like detours were actually protection. Even delays that frustrated you were preserving something valuable. Even closed doors saved you from paths that would have drained you. Tonight, God wants you to release any resentment toward the process. Not because it was easy, but because it was purposeful. You survived it. You grew through it. You're standing because of it. And now, something inside you has shifted. You may not have named it yet, but you feel it. A calm expectation, a quiet readiness, a sense that you don't need to chase anymore. That's alignment. That's what happens when your heart catches up to God's timing. Chosen one, the next chapter of your life will not require you to abandon who you are. It will require you to trust who you've become. God didn't change you to make you acceptable. He refined you to make you resilient. And resilience doesn't shout, it stands. You don't need to announce what God is doing in you. The fruit will speak. Peace will speak. Consistency will speak. Wisdom will speak. There will come a moment when you look back at this season and realize, I was being prepared, not postponed. But tonight, before that clarity arrives, God simply wants you to rest. Rest your thoughts. Rest your expectations. Rest your need to control outcomes. You don't have to hold everything together. God already is. Chosen one, as you prepare to sleep, let this truth wrap around you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are deeply known and carefully guided. Allow your breathing to slow. Inhale peace. Exhale tension. God is near. And even while you sleep tonight, He will continue working, aligning, preparing, protecting. You don't have to stay alert. You can rest. If this message brought calm to your spirit, you're always welcome here. You don't have to walk this journey alone. Sleep with peace. Chosen one. God has you. God has you. Chosen one. Let that settle gently into your spirit. You don't need to analyze it. You don't need to question it. You don't need to earn it. God has you. As this day comes to a close, and the noise of the world fades, there's an invitation resting on your heart. An invitation to trust without striving, to rest without guilt, to sleep without carrying tomorrow's weight. You've done enough for today. You've shown up. You've endured. You've believed even when belief felt quiet and fragile. That is more than enough. Chosen one. God is not measuring you by productivity or progress charts. He's looking at your heart, and your heart has remained open even when it was tired. That matters deeply to Him. Tonight, you don't need to rehearse old conversations. You don't need to relive missed chances. You don't need to worry about what's coming next. Those thoughts can rest now. God will carry them for you. There is a peace available to you that doesn't depend on circumstances. A peace that exists because God is present, not because everything is resolved. That peace is for you. Tonight, you may not see the full picture yet, but you don't need to. The one who sees everything is watching over you. While you sleep, He does not rest. Chosen one, there will be clarity in its time. There will be answers when you're ready. There will be movement when the foundation is set. For now, your assignment is simple. Rest. Rest your body. Rest your thoughts. Rest your spirit. You are safe. Let go of the need to understand everything tonight. Faith doesn't mean constant effort. Sometimes faith looks like trustful stillness, and that stillness is holy. As you drift towards sleep, may your mind be quieted. May your heart feel lighter. May your spirit feel covered. God is closer than you think. Chosen one, you are loved without condition, guided without confusion, held without hesitation. Nothing about you is accidental. Nothing about this season is wasted. And when morning comes, you will rise. Not because of pressure, but because grace is carrying you forward. Until then, rest. If you ever need a reminder like this again, quiet place to return to, you're welcome to stay connected. But for now, sleep in peace. Chosen one, God is with you.